Welcome. So I thought I'd do a short video on Super Alloy 1, which is a product from Muggyweld, and it's actually a solder, and it supposedly works on aluminum, and it does work on aluminum. The only problem I have with it, well, two problems I have with it. Number one, it's very hard, or I find it very hard, and I've been soldering all my life, electrical and plumbing. It's I find it pretty hard to get it to go where I want it to go. And the second problem is with the flux. The flux is very hard to remove, and but the stuff works. I mean, you know, when you lay it down and you know, heat the part up and let it flow out. It does flow out, and it will hold the part. Here's one I did here on it's a lot easier, by the way, on a flat surface, because the flux doesn't get all over the place. This one I did, probably the first one I did, on a flat piece of aluminum. Got a pretty good fillet on this side. On this side here, it balled up and it spread out, so it's that's why I say it's a little bit unpredictable. I scrubbed the hell out of this to get the flux off of it, and you can see I still didn't get it all off, because you can still see there's some flux in here. I tried acetone, I even tried paint remover. I'm going to email Muggyweld and ask them what they recommend to get that flux off. But other than that, I mean, the stuff works. Now, there's a method I've been using, given, you know, this stuff wanders and goes places you don't really want it to go. There's a method I've been using that seems to work out pretty good for tiny little pieces like this that I'm doing. And what I've been doing is I take a rod of their Muggyweld, which is a 16th inch, by the way. That's what I ordered from them. And I pound it flat, thusly. And what I've been doing with a pair of dikes here, I only have one hand, I'm sorry. I've been snipping off a little piece of this Muggyweld and putting it in the slot. First I'll put a little drop of flux. Bear with me. Like I said, I'm one-handed here. And I've been using a little wooden stick, which I don't have. Oh, here we go. I got it right here. Just a little coffee stirrer. And I put a little dab of flux there. Not a lot, because that's the biggest problem with this stuff, is when you use a lot of flux. And I'm going to pause this here for a minute because I don't have a part to solder. So bear with me. Okay, I'm back. And so you can see I put a little cut off piece of Muggyweld solder into the slot there, and I put a little bit on the back of my part here. Very, very little bit, sparingly with the flux. And then I'm going to place the part in here, like so. And this is not really my jig, but it's what I've been using to experiment with. I'm going to hold the part down with this piece of metal here from my mill. I'm going to turn it around this way. The part will move around if you don't hold it down, because it's so light. Be able to see the part here. Okay, and now we're going to heat it up. And I've actually gotten away with using a little butane torch here, but for purposes of this video, I'm going to get out the big guns here. It doesn't have to be very hot, but it takes longer with this, obviously. So I said I want this to be a short video, and that's what we're going to get out of this. You never heat the part or the flux directly. You'll just burn it away. So indirectly, indirect heat, just like you solder plumbing and other. Sometimes it's hard to tell when it's actually melted. So, like I said, I'm doing this one-handed. I think the part moved, but you'll get the idea. And I see it's melted. So, shut my torch off. I see it's melted. I see it in the cracks there of the part. And so I just got to let it cool. And it's a neat little way of keeping it where you want it so that you don't make a big mess. So I'm going to shut this down. We'll look at the final part once it cools off. Okay, so you can see the solder melted. You can see it around the edges. I hope you can see it. I got a shadow in here. The camera gets in the way of its own light here. So, but it melted under the part. The part got moved a little bit. You saw that on camera. It was just an accident. Moved forward there a little bit. You can see it towards me. But other than that, the part holds. I tried to pull it out with a pair of water pump pliers there, and it's definitely soldered. This is aluminum tubing here. I forget what it is, like, I don't know, this maybe an 1/8 inch wall. And I machined those slots into it. Well, here's 3 I didn't use yet. This is just a test piece. It's not an actual part. So hopefully, you know, I gave you an idea on how to use this stuff. Keep it where you want it. And you'll have a little bit more confidence in the fact that this stuff does actually work. Worked here, and I was put a nice fillet on one side, but unfortunately I wasn't able to repeat that. So the problem with the rod is that the smallest size it comes in is 1/16 of an inch, and if you're doing really small stuff like this, this 1/16 of an inch is too big. It puts too much material down too fast. Need something maybe a half, you know, a 32nd of an inch, or even you know, smaller. But this is all we have, so that's why I pounded it flat. I put it on my buff wheel a little bit too, by the way, to take out any impurities or whatever from the hammerhead, and polish it, and then cut it off in these little pieces here, and stuck it under the part with some flux, and it all goes together fine. Okay, so let me end this.